Welcome to Mini Mini Mastermind. If I were to tell you that if you were lucky, then a book which you wrote today could last 100 years or possibly even more, would you believe me? Most likely, no. But if Mr. George Clason had the same opinion as yours approximately 100 years ago, then he'd be wrong. Hey guys, I'm Mahira, and today I'm gonna give my reviews on the book titled The Richest Man in Babylon. In the book, there is one main character who tells most of the concepts in the whole book, who is Arkad. And Arkad is the richest man in Babylon. In one chapter, there is a spear maker who goes to the gold lender, as in Babylon that time, the only forms of currency were pieces of gold, silver, and copper, and asked for the gold lender's advice about how to use the king's gift, which is 50 pieces of gold, fairly a large amount. In another chapter, there is a camel tender telling his friend's son about his own life and the true values of life and the burden of credit. He also taught his friend's son about the difference between the soul of a slave and the soul of a free man. In another chapter, there is a very rich prince telling his old friend's grandson about his and his old friend's life and the fruit of hard work, which is wealth. In another chapter, as I clearly remember, there is a professor who finds 5 clay tablets in Babylonian ruins in which a camel tender, the same one who explained his friend's son about the burden of credit and the true values of life, had inscribed what he had done after he had run from his master out of slavery. So he told the steps that he followed so that he would become wealthy. And the professor followed the same steps that Dabasur, the camel trader, had followed, and he was able to pay off all of his debt, and his creditors no more chased him. Now, let me start giving my reviews on the book instead of wasting my time telling you bits and pieces of each of the chapters of the book. So, as I told you earlier, this book is approximately 100 years old. It was written by George Samuel Clason, the famed author, in 1926. According to me, this book is a personal finance book in which each and every concept is explained through simple and interesting stories. From what I know, it originally was a series of pamphlets, but later it was converted into a book of parables. Now, basically, the main concept that the book is trying to explain in a whole is that if you want to be wealthy, then you need to work hard and keep a part, or save a part, shall I say, of all you earn. Now, first, let us learn the key takeaways of the book, and then we'll dig deeper into the chapters and each and every detail of the book. So, the first key takeaway is pay yourself first. This Mathan, the gold lender, had advised Dabasur, the camel trader, to do. At that time, Dabasur was in financial instability and stress, and there were many creditors chasing him for money. So, he took the advice of Mathan, the gold lender, and he first, when he earned the money, kept a part of it, 1/10 of it, for himself. He paid himself first, then he paid his needs, and then he paid his creditors. This he was able to do by assigning each job a portion or some tenths of the money he earned. But still, the fact remains that he paid himself first. Another key takeaway is that allow your money to give birth to children, by which I mean that do not spend unnecessarily and use your savings to invest in an investment that will prosper and give you huge returns, and do not spend those huge returns unnecessarily also. Instead, use those huge returns to invest in a better investment that will create larger returns. The third key takeaway is that do not let people trick you to do losses or make you invest in value losing investments. That is, guard your money. So there are many people who will try to steal your wealth. So everybody, start guarding your wealth right now. If you have any. I don't have any wealth at all. Nothing is of my wallet, I don't have wallet at all. So, where was I? Oh yes, I had told you the third key takeaway. Now the fourth key takeaway is that create an income stream that will continuously pump income into your wealth. That use your savings to create some investment that will continuously give you income, and you will not worry in the future about working to earn money, as you will already have a stream of income flowing in. A good example is renting a home or a room. Now, the rent will continuously come up till the one who pays the rent gets bankrupt or dies with no money. Yay! I want to be that kind of guy. Just joking. The last key takeaway is that if you want to be lucky, then you should be ready for the best and prepared for the worst. Now, let's understand the summary of Chapter 1, The Man Who Desired Gold. Now, Banzer, the chariot builder, and his friend Kabi, the musician, were thoroughly discouraged because no matter how hard they worked, they were left with empty wallets, or shall I say, purses. So, they thought that luck has escaped their grasp. And also, Banter the chariot builder tells his friend Kabi about how he had hoped that God would see his hard work and then give him good luck so that he would have an investment that will continue to fill gold into his wallet. But he was wrong. He soon found out that God would not give him what he wanted. Soon, Kabi and Banter made their decision. They arranged a meeting with their wise old friend, Urkud, who is the richest man in Babylon. They also think of taking some of their friends who have the same fate as them. So now, Chapter 2, The Richest Man in Babylon. Now, the richest man in Babylon is Urkud, as I had earlier told you. So, once they arranged that meeting, Urkud tells his own story to his friends. He told them he was a scribe who carved on tablets, but he had the utter determination of becoming wealthy. Soon, he made an exchange with the moneylender, Algamish. He talked to Algamish and told Algamish, or shall I say the moneylender, that if he finished carving by sunrise, then Algamish would have to tell Urkud about how to get wealthy. He finished carving by sunrise, and Algamish told him that the only thing you have to do to become wealthy is to keep a part of all you earn. Then Urkud questions him that all I earn is mine to keep, right? But then Algamish corrects him that he pays the sandal maker, he pays the grocery guy, he pays everyone but himself. So after that, Urkud starts working on saving 1/10 of his money, and soon it began to form a pile in his purse. He made a few faulty investments, but later he became one of the richest men of Babylon, and even he became the future heir of Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh gave his wealth to Arkad when he was on his deathbed, should I say, and when he was passing to the next world. So Arkad got the wealth from Gilgamesh. So a big part of Arkad's wealth is Gilgamesh's wealth. And also Arkad still keeps on earning income. When Arkad ends his story, some were confused. Some were sarcastically thinking that he should share his wealth with his friends who are less fortunate, and others had a new light in their eyes and set out in a journey to become wealthy. Chapter 3: 7 Cures for a Lean Purse. In this chapter, it is explained that Babylon was not as wealthy as it is known for. It started becoming wealthy when the king, Sargon, returns to Babylon after defeating the enemy in a war. He learns that there are very few wealthy people in his kingdom who have gathered all the wealth. So he arranges a meeting with Arkad, who is the so-called the richest man in Babylon, and asks Arkad if he should arrange a class for him, and Arkad would share his knowledge about getting wealthy with other people, who further on will increase the chain and share their knowledge from Arkad to more people. Arkad gracefully accepts, and the next day his class begins. Though his class lasts many days, I can explain all the 7 cures for a lean purse to you in simple words. 1. Fasten your purse by keeping aside 10% of what you earn. 2. Control your expenditures, that is, spend on only your needs. 3. Make your 10% of money multiply by investing it in a fruitful investment. 4. Do not get tricked into having losses. That is, guard your money. 5. If a part of that 90% of money is left, invest it too. 6. Ensure a future income that will continuously pump income into your wealth, and you will not have to worry about having to work for someone, so that you can earn money in the future for, spending on your needs. Like the renting of a house or a room example I gave. And don't worry, I don't want to be the kind of guy who dies broke, I also have a lot of money. So, the last one is that increase your ability to earn. Now, chapter 4. Meet the goddess of good luck. Here, Arkad talks to a few people who tell about them losing lucky investments. And then he tells them that if they were ready for the best and prepared for the worst, then they would have been lucky. They would have got those investments. So, the main concept that Arkad was trying to explain was that the men and women of action are favored by the goddess of luck. Now, chapter 5. The 5 laws of gold. Here, old Kalabab, who is some camel trader, just like Dabasar, tells his friends, or his workers, shall I say, about a tale told by Nomasur, shall I say, the son of Arkad. Well, actually, Arkad did not approve of the practice of passing your wealth to your future heir, and so he gave Nomasur a challenge. He gave Nomasur a clay tablet in which the 5 laws of gold were written, and give Nomasir also a bag of Babylonian gold. Now the gold escaped very quickly from the grasp of Nomasir through faulty investments and tricks of people. But once he read the 5 laws of gold, after he had lost all the money, of course, he learned the true values of life and quickly started working to earn money. And then he invested in investments that provided a lot of income for him. So when he returned, he tells his tale to his father and his mother and his wife and children. And they both, like all of them, hear the story along with some people. And he tells them that the 5 laws of gold will always be remembered in his whole life because they are of true importance, as he did get 3 bags of Nineveh gold, which is another city's gold, in return for the Babylonian bag of gold. Well, actually, it's not exactly like that. His father had given him 1 bag of Babylonian gold. He gave 1 bag of Nineveh gold. And his father had given him the clay tablet having the 5 laws of gold. And in return for that, he gets 2 bags of Nineveh gold. Now let me explain the 5 laws of gold in simple words. Now, the 5 laws of gold are: number 1, gold gladly comes to a man who keeps away 10% of what he earns. 2, gold of a wise owner multiplies faster than flocks of fields. 3, gold will cling to a cautious investor who invests it carefully. 4, gold will flee from a person not skilled in his or her task. 5, gold will go away from a person who invests it carelessly or is inexperienced in spending it properly. Now, chapter 6, the gold lender of Babylon. Here, Rodan the spearmaker takes advice of his friend Matan, the gold lender, and asks Matan if he should use his 50 pieces of gold, which is the king's gift, in return for his new spear design, and give it to his sister, who wishes her husband to become a merchant. He listens to the good advice of Matan and ends up not giving the gold to his sister's husband and tells her that he first needs to learn the ways of a merchant. Chapter 7, the walls of Babylon. Here the story tells about an unexpected attack from the enemy to Babylon when most of the army is in the king's palace, which is far away. But the small amount of soldiers attack anybody who tries to climb the gates, and the walls around Babylon fend off the attack. After a few days, the enemy retreats, and a loud cheer goes up from the Babylon citizens as they had defeated the attack. So the concept tried to be explained here is that we cannot survive without adequate protection. Chapter 8, the camel trader of Babylon. Here, Tarkat, the son of Azur, thinks that he is very unlucky because he has eaten nothing except for 2 figs in 2 days. And before he could grab another one, an angry woman had chased him down the street. Her shrill cries were still ringing in his ears and helped to restrain his restless fingers from snatching fruits from the market woman's baskets. Then he goes to the inn, hoping that someone would meet him and feel pity on the youth, and so will lend him a few coppers so that he could have some food. But then he came face to face with someone who he wanted to to avoid the most. It was Davasir, the camel trader. Meeting Davasir made him feel guilty and bad because he had failed to repay his promises of repaying the gold and silver and coppers he had borrowed. So Davasir straight away asked for his silver and copper, but Tarkad replies by saying that he cannot have any coppers or silvers because ill fortune pursues him. So Davasir invites him into the inn but gives him only a jug of water while he eats an entire goat leg. While eating the goat leg, he tells Tarkad about his own life, and he tells him that if he had the soul of a slave, then he would believe that ill fortune pursues him and stop trying to do the hard work so that he could gain power and repay all of his debts. And if he had the soul of a free man, then he would do just the opposite of the soul of a slave. He would try to work hard. He will try to earn as much as he can and repay all his debts. Davasir relates his own story with everyone present, mainly Tarkad. And then Tarkad understands the true values of life and the burden of credit. Chapter 9. The Clay Tablets of Babylon. Here a professor relates his story about finding 5 clay tablets in Babylonian ruins and learns about the camel trader Davasir and his own story after he had run from his master in slavery. Well, there he had given his entire plan of getting free and repaying his debt. So first he planned to break up all he earned in 10 pieces. 1/10 he will pay himself first, or shall I say, save it. And 7/10 he will use to spend on his needs. 2/10 he will use to repay his creditors. Now this plan continued up till the 5th tablet, when all of his debts were repaid and he enjoyed a grand feast with his wife. Now the last chapter, chapter 10, the luckiest man in Babylon. So the luckiest man in Babylon was a rich prince named Sharunada, who tells his friend's grandson, his old friend's grandson, Harangula, about his and his old friend's life. And his old friend, by the way's name is Aradgula. So he tells about his and Arad's life and how he had told Arad that if he believed that he could get free and he would save money to get his freedom, then he would be a free man. Arad follows his advice, and once he earned enough money, he became free and freed Sharunada as well. Sharu teaches Haran about the true values of life. Not exactly true values. Actually, he teaches about hard work and its fruit, which is wealth. And then Harangula understands that showing off was not the way of his grandfather, and he should save money and invest it if he wanted to be a famous person like his grandfather. So now I have explained all the chapters of this 155-page long book in just a few paragraphs. Well, that's great, right? According to me, this book is perfect for children because it explains each and every concept through simple and short, interesting stories or parables. If everyone likes reading Cinderella or Spider-Man, wouldn't like reading The Richest Man in Babylon with a cup of coffee? I feel so refreshed. So, if I were to rate it out of 5 stars, then I'd rate it 5 stars out of 5. Thank you for tuning into my channel, Mini Money Mastermind with Mahira. I hope you found the information helpful in your journey to financial success. Don't forget to hit the like button and share my videos with your friends and your family so that they also can benefit from my content. I appreciate your support and can't wait to continue bringing you more informative and actionable finance related content. Until next time, happy money management. Thanks. And also, before I go, let me remind you again to subscribe my channel and like this video if you haven't done any of them yet. Thanks. Goodbye.